2010. They didn't play in 2011. Getting my numbers mixed up.
Yeah.
So this is Michael Fabiano, NFL.com fantasy editor, and he is here to set us straight on what we should do. T.O., let's start there. This is a brand new name to add to the mix. What is his fantasy value?
Well, remember, this guy is going to turn 39 in December. He hasn't played football in a whole year. He's coming off an ACL, but he did have a lot of time to recover. The last time he played was in Cincinnati. His numbers were actually very good for a player of his age. There's a lot of mouths to feed in Seattle, although I wonder if Sidney Rice is healthy because they've signed T.O. and, of course, Braylon Edwards. But out of the three receivers we're talking about, I think Terrell Owens is the guy that I would go after, but it wouldn't be as more than a number 4 or 5 fantasy receiver, somewhere in the late rounds. We're not 10 years ago. It's right now in 2012.
Yeah, you need to speak to me in rounds here, Michael. So, Chad Johnson has been with the Dolphins long enough that I'm sure you're seeing him in mock drafts. Where is he going? Where should we look to take him?
He's going very late. We're talking about round 11, round 12, round 13, somewhere in that area. The thing with Chad is that he's got more opportunity than, say, T.O. or Moss, because they don't really have a number 1 wide receiver there with Brian Hartline and Devon Best, but the quarterback situation is shaky at best, and honestly, Chad hasn't done much over the last 3 years. Even his last couple years in Cincinnati with Carson Palmer at the quarterback position, he was very inconsistent, so I'm not a big fan of Chad Johnson.
What about Randy Moss?
Same situation, a guy who hasn't played in over a year. Last time we saw him on a football field, he was on the sidelines in Tennessee. With Minnesota, he didn't do much. A lot of mouths to feed in San Francisco. Vernon Davis, Michael Crabtree, Mario Manningham, Alex Smith as a quarterback. Not until the late rounds would I take a chance on Randy Moss, somewhere after round 12. Clearly, I'm not in on the older wide receivers this season.
So that's like a no, no, and no from Michael Fabiano.
I would take them as 4s or 5s in fantasy, but I'm not leaning on them to be prominent members of my fantasy team.
All right. Well, for more on, thank you very much, Michael. For more on Randy's quarterback, who, of course, is also